This time for Amad Diallo coming back to do some good defensive work. Now Euro in the edge of his box. 1-2 with Casemiro. Back to Senna Lamans, who seems to have learned his lesson from that charge down almost straight from kickoff. Gay flicks on a header, but nobody in blue can get on the end of it, and I think he's fouled Casemiro. Anyway, so just over 7 minutes gone here at Hill Dickinson Stadium. You're listening to live Monday night Premier League action on Flash Score. Delighted to have you along with me. I'm Mark Strange here. Here's Euro to Casemiro on the halfway line. Casemiro clips one over the top for Mbeumo. It's just a bit too long. Takes one bounce into the gloves of Jordan Pickford, all in mint green, the Everton goalkeeper tonight. Now here's Eric Bonham, too long for Dewsbury Hall. Picked off by Dallo, and Casemiro is charged down by Eric Bonham, and that's a throw in just on halfway on the right hand side for Manchester United, as we see Roberto Martinez, now Portugal manager, of course long time Everton manager, up in the stands here. His Everton side, along with many others, including David Moyes' Everton side, didn't have much luck at their old ground against Manchester United. United coming away 19 Premier League wins at Goodison Park, 42 overall, which is the most. Both of those are the most for any team against any other in the Premier League. As Dallo drills one in, Pickford has to parry it away, and too much on it for Cunha, so it'll spin away off the wet turf and out for a throw in on the left hand side. Well, just in those, Dallo getting space there. Brilliant ball from Casemiro to pick him out in the right corner of the penalty area. He had a couple of red shirts to aim at there, most notably in Mbeumo, but he just drilled it into the box towards that old corridor of uncertainty. And there's a crunching 50-50 challenge between he and Harrison Armstrong, but Dallo comes out of it well, finds Mbeumo, but good work from Branthwaite to win it back. Now Eric Bonham under pressure from Diallo. Too much pressure as Darren England free kick to Manchester United midway inside their own half. So as I said, Harrison Armstrong spent the first half of the season with a very productive loan spell in the Championship with Preston North End, but was recalled back here to his parent club at the beginning of January and has been involved either from the off or from the bench in every game since, so enjoying his time back on Merseyside. Manchester United, by the way, have a potential debutant on the bench who was also recalled from a loan spell. It's young Irish midfielder Jack Moorhouse, who was on loan at Leyton Orient in League One right up until the end of January, and makes a first Premier League squad tonight. So if he were to come on, that would be a debut for United. The benches, by the way, for both teams, we hit 10 minutes here. For Everton, it's Tom King, Nathan Patterson, Dwight McNeil, Beto, Vitaly Mikalenko, Tyreek George, Tyler Dibling, Seamus Coleman and Merlin Rowe. And for Manchester United, it's Altay Bayandir, Nusser Mazraoui, Joshua Zirkzee, Tyrell Malacia, Manuel Ugarte, Aidan Heaven, Benjamin Sesko, Tyler Fletcher and the aforementioned Jack Moorhouse, as Ndiaye takes that one off the toes of Fernandes midway inside the Everton half. Here's Tarkovsky already making a crucial, if fortunate, goal line clearance to deny Amad Diallo an early opener. Pickford with a long ball over the top, well read by Dallo. Branthwaite was on his bike there trying to get in behind, and Dallo with a miss. But in fact, on the far side, there's actually been an offside flag. Don't think it was against Branthwaite, it must be against Barry. So free kick to Manchester United. Euro goes back to Lamans. He then gets it back from Euro. Lamans away, there's Barry trying to charge down again. Keane wins a good header above him. Mbeumo flicked on, and Maguire gets that one before Idrissa Gueye and ends up knee sliding on that one as he was clipped by Idrissa Gueye. Of course, now in his second spell at Everton, having had a brief foray with Paris Saint-Germain before returning to Merseyside. 36 years old now, the Senegalese midfielder, a real fan favourite here among the Everton faithful. Free kick taken long. Well taken down by Cunha, who avoids the challenge of Garner. Now Casemiro just inside his own half. Plays it laterally to the right to find Euro. Everton pressing well here, but United passing out of the press. And now here's Euro to Diallo on the right hand side, midway inside the Everton half. Now clips over the top looking for Amad Diallo. Tarkowski wins a header and has landed awkwardly there. Nothing Amad Diallo could do, although that's a free kick to Everton. I think it's a bit harsh to call it a free kick. I'm not sure Amad Diallo has fouled James Tarkowski necessarily, but the Everton captain is down and in some pain here. I think it's his left shoulder maybe. I hope he hasn't done any real damage there. Oh, it's a sore one. And slightly concerningly for Tarkowski, I don't think it's really the one either that took the brunt of the fall. So whatever way he's fallen and twisted, I think it's around his left shoulder. And he's certainly, there's some concern for the Everton captain here. He's getting some treatment as, of course, the camera now pans to Jake O'Brien. He can't come on. He was suspended, you would think. There's no real out and out centre half on the bench, so you'd imagine it'd be Branthwaite shifting across and then one of Mikalenko, Patterson or Coleman coming on. But Tarkowski is now making his way to the sideline. And hopefully that one isn't as serious as it potentially originally looked for James Tarkowski, although Jared Branthwaite was over at the sideline there getting some instructions on David Moyes, but that might have been more down to the fact that he was the closest man to David Moyes more than any potential positional change, as Jordan Pickford prepares to take the free kick just on the edge of his own box, booms it forward left footed. Diallo wins a header above Branthwaite. United were claiming a throw in, but it's Everton throw on the left midway inside the United half. Branthwaite down the line for Barry to chase, and Euro reads it well but can only pop it in the touch, so it's another Everton through, this one about 10 yards from the byline. Jared Branthwaite will trot down the side end to take it, and James Tarkowski's ready to come back on. He is back on, good to see. That initially didn't look too good for Tarkowski, so hopefully he's right as rain and not just trying to be battling on. But that's poor there from Branthwaite to Dewsbury Hall, well read by Diallo, and then Armstrong gives it away to Diallo again, so good busy work there from Amad Diallo, and it's going to be a throw in to United on the right hand side as Idrissa Gueye intercepts Matheus Cunha's attempted pass. We've played a quarter of an hour here now at Hill Dickinson Stadium. I'm Mark Strange live for Flash Score Official. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Biggest chance of the game came very early when Amad Diallo shot. Jordan Pickford got a hand to it, but his captain James Tarkowski behind him had to clear it off the line. So this is the final game of round 27. Manchester United coming into this round in 5th place, level on points with Chelsea ahead of them, who of course were pegged back by a late equaliser at home to Burnley on Saturday. So United know even a point here tonight would be enough to lift them back into the top 4, but they'll want all 3. Everton in 9th currently, 8 points behind United, so a win would really catapult them back into the conversation for European football. But I think despite their patchy home form at their new home, I think Everton fans will be reasonably pleased with a fairly humdrum mid-table so far this season. But certainly they're not far away from being able to make that push to those European places. Here's Casemiro to Fernandes. Of course, United missed out on Europe last year. They finished 15th in the league, a disastrous campaign that did give a glimmer of hope with the Europa League final, but they lost that to Tottenham Hotspur, who finished 17th but still ended up in the Champions League. So no Europe for Manchester United, but despite that, Ruben Amorim paying with his job early in January, and after a bridge of Darren Fletcher, who lost the FA Cup game to Brighton, Michael Carrick, another former United midfielder who, like I said, played under David Moyes in that much maligned 2013-14 season, has taken the reins and has really taken this United team forward. But here's Kieran Dewsbury-Hall coming forward for Everton, but he slips just at the feet of Casemiro, the Brazilian midfielder, who will be, of course, will be leaving Manchester United at the end of the season. Can nick that away from him. Here's Fernandes. Right to Casemiro, a serial winner at Real Madrid, but has come to Manchester United. Has been a real, I think, after a bit of a dodgy start, much like I mentioned, Idrissa Gueye has become a bit of a fan favourite with United fans, as Jared Branthwaite with a good sliding tackle on Brian Mbeumo, and he actually wins the throw in for Everton on the left, midway inside his own half anyway. Casemiro playing alongside young Kobbie Mainoo, just 20 years old still, Mainoo. There's one flicked on from Fernandes for Mbeumo to chase into the right corner, faced up by Michael Keane. Back to Amad Diallo, he's about 30 yards from goal. Fernandes tried to find Mainoo in the box there, but just couldn't pick the lock. And now Barry to Armstrong, he's looking for a handball off Lenny Yoro, but there's a clean slide tackle according to the officials. Now here's Mbeumo, good skill, flicks it inside to Diallo. And now Casemiro back to the halfway line, the centre circle to Harry Maguire. Maguire trots forward unopposed and then rolls it to the left to Luke Shaw. Now Mainoo, Maguire and Shaw and Mainoo, three men who will be hoping to impress Thomas Tuchel in the upcoming friendlies, perhaps at the end of March, or with their club form, and earn a spot in the play into North America for this summer's World Cup. Maguire and Shaw, who were two of the mainstays under Gareth Southgate, hoping to remain so under Thomas Tuchel. Kobbie Mainoo, who of course went to the Euros in the summer of 2024 at just 18 years old. Now Fernandes digs out a pass out to the right hand side for Dalot, two men who will almost certainly be going with Portugal. Now Mbeumo, Fernandes, Mainoo, lovely 1-2 there. Fernandes, oh lovely turn inside the box, takes one to the back post, looking for Cunha, can't find it, comes to Shaw on the edge of the box. Good block by Kieran Dewsbury-Hall, and Lenny Yoro has to react quickly to get there before Tierno Barry will go all the way back to Senna Lamans, who comes out midway inside his own half. That was good interchange there. Fernandes in the end trying to pick out Matheus Cunha with a bit of a banana pass to the outside of his right boot, when maybe a shot might have been a better option there, but in the end Everton clear. But United come back at it. 20 minutes gone here now. Shaw, Cunha on the left corner of the penalty area, looks for Mbeumo, but that's too long, and Michael Keane can hammer it clear. Yoro beats Barry to it, but Armstrong then wins the second ball. Barry, well, I don't know about that one now. Tierno Barry just, well, he's backed into Lenny Yoro, who's feeling the back of his head. Initially, to me, that just looked like strong forward play. But when you see it again, I think Tierno Barry knows exactly what he's doing. Yoro is sort of backing up, trying to win the header, and Barry just sort of takes a knowing glance before nudging him into the back. Here's Luke Shaw now in the centre circle for United. Socks around the ankles, fluorescent yellow boots. 1-2 with Mainoo. Maguire to Yoro. As I mentioned earlier, Everton 1-0 winners at Old Trafford back in November, with this man on the ball, Kieran Dewsbury-Hall, scoring the only goal of the game. And if they were to win tonight, despite all of United's recent struggles, this would be Everton's first league double over United since, you guessed it, 2013-14, when David Moyes was Manchester United manager. Barry tries to get past Mainoo, but right in front of the referee is fouled. So free kick, Everton midway inside the United half, fairly central. Dewsbury-Hall too would be the first man since Andy King in 1978-79 to score home and away victories for Everton over Manchester United. So just one worth bearing in mind for later perhaps. And well, Tierno Barry has actually stayed down. He looked a fairly innocuous challenge there, but Beto all of a sudden is rising from the bench and going for a jog down the touchline. So maybe there's something a bit more in this for Tierno Barry. I'd like to have a look at this one again. As I say, it looked like a fairly innocuous foul by Kobe Mainu, but perhaps an awkward landing for Barry. Still quite not even sure where maybe the problem has arisen from. I think actually his is maybe an arm as well, much like Tarkovsky, an awkward fall earlier. Well, this one maybe looking more like an elbow or a forearm for the French forward for Everton. So perhaps his evening is done here after 23 minutes. Well, he is going to jog to the sideline, so maybe like Tarkovsky, just a bit of initial pain and is shaking it off. But say Beto went for a bit of a trot to get himself stretched. Looks like Barry is going to come back on, but he's actually got a change of shirt there. This one's soaking. There's been pretty continuous rain here since kick-off. So the free kick's going to be taken without him. Blue shirts and red shirts line up along the edge of the penalty area. James Garner clips one into the back post. Up goes Keane to win the header, away by Mainu in there, and that's actually going to come off an Everton man last, so that works out well for United. Throw in the left corner to be taken by Luke Shaw in front of the travelling United fans. Now, actually, whenever Tierno Barry has taken off his shirt, he has a strapping around, almost like goes around his chest and around his arms, so perhaps already a bit of an issue there with sort of the upper body, the upper limbs there for Tierno Barry. Maybe that's what made that seemingly innocuous fall a bit more painful, but he is back on. They've readjusted his strapping. He's feeling that left shoulder though, so hopefully he'll be okay to continue. We don't ever want to see anyone going off injured, but 25 minutes gone. It's now a throw in on the right hand side. We're taken by James Garner. Barry gets a touch, looks to flick it on towards Ndiaye. Garner over hit and away by Maguire on the edge of his own box. Tarkovsky wins the header above Mbemo, and Keane with a rather uncouth hoof up into the sky, easily dealt with by Harry Maguire. Now here's Matheus Cunha to Diogo Dalot. Back to Lenny Yoro on the edge of his own box. Yoro twists away from Dewsbury Hall. Now Dalot under pressure from Harrison Armstrong clips it away, and the two of them between them there have managed to get that ball away, but only as far as midway inside their own half, as Gay takes a throw in 1-2 with Dewsbury Hall. Now here's Armstrong. Back to Irogbonum. He just sort of stands on the ball and looks for his options and rolls it laterally to his left to Kieran Dewsbury Hall. Now Jared Branthwaite, another man who for a long time was a real push to be in the England squad, had to withdraw from the Euro squad with injury. That's a brilliant ball at the top for Ndiaye, but he just couldn't bring it under control and it's out for a goal kick. But he gives a big thumbs up to Michael Keane, who played an arrowed ball across there like a quarterback, but just as Ndiaye tried to bring it down with his right foot, his left foot just wasn't on the same wavelength and almost got in the way and out for a goal kick. Lamans now to Yoro. Gay intercepts, but he and Armstrong can't keep it alive. Volleyed up into the sky by Diallo, the rainy evening sky here. Good skill from Ndiaye. He's away from three United players, still going. Iliman Ndiaye. Well, he thought he was fouled by Casemiro on the end of the edge of the box, but nothing doing, says Darren England. So play on, but Everton have it back in the centre circle with Irogbonum. Looks for the run of Garner down the right, but just too much sauce on that pass, and Luke Shaw can get in the end of it. Now Cunha for United on halfway. Hurdles the challenge of Garner. Now Maguire midway inside his own half. Shaw. Mainu now midway inside the Everton half. I have Casemiro, long sleeve shirt and gloves on for the Brazilian. Back to Maguire, short sleeves, no gloves. Here's Fernandes. Casemiro. Nice flick there for Fernandes in the centre circle. Mainu. Casemiro. United keeping possession here without really going too far. And it's back with Maguire on halfway. Infield to Dallow, who's immediately closed down by Dewsbury Hall, and a good sliding challenge from Harrison Armstrong. So now Everton will try and break, but that's too long, and it's just been a little sloppy these past maybe 10 minutes or so. Neither side really keeping the ball well, but now here's Harrison Armstrong. Plays it Barry on the left flank. Not much ahead of him, so he goes back inside to Gay. Now Keane. Garner just over halfway on the right. Gay in the centre, sorry, almost overhit. And then Boom was waiting to pounce, but Tarkowski now in halfway, faced up by Cunha, so decides his best option is to go back to the edge of the box and play to Jordan Pickford, who booms one forward left-footed. Lovely touch by Casemiro, that is lovely. And then a second one on to Mainu. Advantage played for a bit of a hack there from Jared Branthwaite. The Casemiro avoided, but Fernandes now advancing into the Everton half for Manchester United. Casemiro. Mainu surrounded by three blue shirts, and Eric Bonham wins it back, but now Mainu's in there on Gay in a bit of a battle, but Idrissa Gay comes out of it well. Barry's flicked in Jai, robbed by Shaw. Now here's Fernandes in the edge of the box. Fernandes thought of a shot, but closed down well, so instead goes to his left to Casemiro. Now looking for a run at Cunha. That was nearly a good link up between the two Brazilians there, but instead Everton come away with Armstrong on halfway. He's trying to encourage Tierno Barry to run beyond the defence, but not doing so, but it's worked out okay. Here's Dewsbury Hall to Barry on the left corner of the penalty area. Cuts in field, Tierno Barry to Gay, Dewsbury Hall. Oh, went for the flick for the return for Gay, who had that gone through would have been one-on-one with Lamons, but enough red shirts in the way. Casemiro now. Maguire. Dallow. Mainu. Diallo gets away from Branthwaite, who had a chunk of his shirt there. And that's going to be a free kick to Manchester United as we just about to hit the half-hour mark here at Hill Dickinson Stadium. Still Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Jared Branthwaite really had a chunk of Amad Diallo's shirt there. As Darren England will count out the 10 yards for the wall. Just a one-man wall, made it comprised of Iliman Ndiaye and Bruno Fernandes. It's just the free kick roughly in line with the edge of the 18-yard box, maybe 5 yards to the right of the right edge of the penalty area. Red shirts and blue shirts line up roughly along the penalty spot for Fernandes to aim at. He's a couple of bodies in the edge of the box, Diallo and Mainu, if they want to try something like that. But Fernandes, right hand into the air, here it comes, clipped in with the right foot. Away by Dewsbury Hall, comes back out to Dallow. He's going to hit one. Oh, what a hit, just wide. Wow. Diogo Dallow, so often you see whenever the ball comes back out to somebody in the edge of the box, they just swipe at it. But goodness me, that was close. Whew, that just whistled wide of Jordan Pickford's left post. Set himself up for a volley there. The Portuguese right back and just wide. So that's about as close as anybody has come really since the part save by Pickford, part goal line clearance by Tarkowski after just 4 minutes. As Diogo Dallow, after the cleared free kick, fell to him just on the edge of the D, setting himself up for a volley. Just dipped wide of the post, and there's a free kick here for United just inside the Everton half that Iliman Ndiaye is causing a bit of trouble around, but in the end Harry Maguire will place the ball for Casemiro to take it. So a bit of a smoke and mirrors there from Manchester United. In the end, all Casemiro does is roll it along the halfway line to Dallow. Now Diallo Amad Diallo, that is. Cuts inside on this left foot. Mainu. Casemiro. Mainu now on the edge of the box for United. Mainu trying to jink his way through. Almost does, but it's just stabbed away by Tarkowski, and Eric Bonham will hold off the challenge of Mainu and comes away for Everton. Tarkowski now. Back to Eric Bonham on the right hand side, approaching the halfway line. There's Mainu again. Ndiaye, lovely touch to find Eric Bonham in loads of space inside the Dewsbury Hall, midway inside the United half. Central. Barry now, about 30 yards from goal. The Branthwaite, left corner of the penalty area. Jared Branthwaite tries to get a left foot across in, but can't get it past Diogo Dalot. But we throw in on the left for Everton, roughly in line with the edge of the 18-yard box. In fact, might even be slightly more further forward than that. Branthwaite's certainly taken a few more steps than that. Does he have a long throw in his locker? That I'm not sure about. No, chooses to go short to Dewsbury Hall, then tries to beat Dalot, can't do so. And Casemiro will bring it away for United. So, brief spell of Everton pressure comes to naught. That's a good sliding challenge there from Garner. Take that one away from Cunha. Now Armstrong. Way down the left touchline. Tall, rangy forward. Back to Gay, who arrows one out to the right hand touchline looking for Ndiaye, but well read by Shaw. And that's going to be a throw in on the right hand side, midway inside the United half for Everton, who have had the territory of this game, but they have not been able to trouble Senna Lamans at all. Eric Bonham back to Tarkowski inside his own half. He goes back to Pickford, who comes away 30 yards off his goal line to get that one, and plays a 1-2 with Idrissa Gay. I don't think he wanted to, as he was pointing Gay forward, but instead Pickford will hammer that one forward, and nobody in particular, far too far for Harrison Armstrong, and Diogo Dalot will bring it down. Flicked on by Casemiro. Mainu, that wasn't a very sympathetic pass from Casemiro, quite off kilter for him, and United lose it. Gay now in the centre circle. Eric Bonham. Dewsbury Hall, too long again. Nice touch through from Dalot to Casemiro. He tries to play a 1-2 with Fernandes, but is barged off the ball by Tom Eric Bonham on halfway free kick. 10 minutes plus stoppage time to go at the end of this first half at Hill Dickinson Stadium. Mark Strange here for you live for Flash Score Official. Goalless between Everton and Manchester United. United with the best chances so far. Amad Diallo's shot being cleared off the line by James Tarkowski, while a vicious Diogo Dalot shot just whistling wide of the post. Everton really not quite troubling Senna Lamans as they would have liked to in this first half. Here's Bruno Fernandes. Perhaps we maybe shouldn't be so surprised, as so far coming into this round, well, more than that in a minute, and Burmo drags one wide from the edge of the box. Left footed strike along the ground from Brian and Burmo. First to have really seen the Cameroon international. Got a bit of space away from Michael Keane, but his shot lacking power and accuracy there. I was going to say that, well, coming in this round, Everton have averaged just 3.3 shots on target in the league this season, which is their second lowest in Premier League history. So they're not exactly troubling goalkeepers too much, which will, despite their relatively lofty league position and compared to recent years, will trouble David Moyes. Barry wins the flick on, but Dalot will beat Armstrong to it, but the young 19-year-old at least makes him play it. Back inside to Lamans. Now Fernandes to Casemiro. Maguire up over halfway. Harry Maguire going for a gallop. Cunha to Fernandes. Now United up the pace. Shaw, left corner of the penalty. Shaw drills it in low. Tarkowski away with Cunha drifting in behind him. Harry Maguire keeps it alive, nods it down the left touchline, but Garner will see it out before Shaw can get a touch. So throw into Everton on the right hand side, about 15 yards from their own byline, as Michael Carrick stands, hands clasped behind his back. I mean, he couldn't have asked for a much more difficult start to life as Manchester United manager. Ruben Amorim's last game in charge, a a 2-2 draw away at Burnley on the 7th of January, which was their 3rd league draw in a row. Darren Fletcher's interim game in charge was the 2-1 FA Cup 3rd round defeat to Brighton. Dewsbury Hall comes forward here, drills it in, blocked by Dallow, back to Dewsbury Hall, left corner of the penalty area. Now Branthwaite, Dewsbury Hall again. Can he whip one in? He can. It's away though by Yoro. Drops for Gay on the edge of the box under pressure on Diallo. Did he nudge him over there? Matt Diallo knows it's Darren England, and well, in fact there is. He was playing advantage there, so free kick to Everton, fairly central, around 30 yards from goal, not beyond the realms of possibility for a shot, but you always say that. The more, ironically, the closer to the centre of the goal you are, the harder it is for a free kick taker, but we've seen them scored. I was saying about Darren Fletcher, he came in, Manchester derby to start with, 2-0 win there, then away to Arsenal, 3-2 win, home to Fulham, never easy, and my goodness it wasn't, a late winner, 3-2 again, and then 2-0 win at home to Tottenham, and well, he did drop points that 1-1 game away to West Ham, which of course meant that that Manchester United fan you always see on social media have to start again from tonight for his looking for 5 wins in a row to cut his hair. There's a strike from Garner. Oh, saved by Lamans. Well, I said it's difficult to get a ball up over the wall, but goodness me, he did it well there. James Garner put the dip on it. But Lamans read it well and held on to it well. Good save from the Manchester United goalkeeper. First time he's really been troubled all evening, in truth. But he dealt with that one well. Shaw now rescues a rather wayward pass, and Maguire will clear, but and now foul on the right hand touchline, midway inside the United half, from Matthias Cunha on James Garner. In fact, no, it wasn't. I thought the referee had given a free kick there, but throw in for Everton. Garner to take. Barry. Njai. Scythe down there by Luke Shaw, so free kick this time. It is to Everton on the right hand touchline. A good chance potentially to deliver a ball into the box here. The delivery's good. Njai had a good bit of skill there, and Shaw hauling him to the turf right in front of the linesman. Not going to get away with that one. So red shirts and blue shirts line up, so between the edge of the box and the penalty spot. Can they make anything of this? The big men are up from the back for Everton. It's either going to be the right foot of James Garner or the left foot of Kieran Dewsbury Hall. Around 30 yards from goal, almost on the right hand touchline. It's going to be Garner's delivery. It's a good one. Up goes Keane, but well headed away by Casemiro, and Mbeumo's going to beat Branthwaite to that one. It's going to try and outpace him, and he's got past him but stumbles over his own feet there, and Everton have it back, albeit inside their own half, with Irag Bonham. Dewsbury Hall back to Pickford inside the last 5 minutes here of this first half, plus any stoppage time. Pickford looks for Branthwaite. That's a real weapon I feel like Everton should be utilising more, having a big man at left back like Branthwaite, almost like Dan Burn at Newcastle, trying to arrow that ball to him and make him win headers above the talented, albeit shorter, Diogo Dalot. But it hasn't really worked so far, if that's what they're trying to do. And that pass is overhit, and Harry Maguire can recover. Here's Yoro to Dallow on halfway on the right hand side in front of the two managers who stand on the edge of the technical area. The rain has eased off for now. Harrison wins a head over and boom. That's a big left side for Everton. Harrison Armstrong and Jared Branthwaite. But here goes Dewsbury Hall robbing Casemiro, hurling the challenge of Yoro, and now Ndiaye trying to lose the shackles of Shaw. Ndiaye on the right hand corner of the penalty area. Garner getting forward really well there, blocked by Fernandez. Can he prevent the corner? No. So first corner of the evening for Everton here in the 42nd minute. Good work there. I mentioned that left side for Everton, it was the right there of Iliman Ndiaye and James Garner. Garner absolutely busting along there to overlap. It's actually the first corner of the game for either side, of course, as Tarkowski and Keane stride forward. Can Everton give them something to work with from this corner? It's going to be a left-footed in-swinger from Kieran Dewsbury-Hall this time. Ndiaye comes short just to perhaps give an option, but now will turn and go back into the middle. In it comes from Dewsbury-Hall. It's a decent one. Lamans does well to get a punch on it, and Cunha hammers that one clear. Eric Bonham gets to it before Diallo. Oh, lovely touch there from Dewsbury-Hall. Gets past his man on the right. Good block from Cunha. It's going to be a throw-in right in the right-hand corner for Everton in front of the United fans. Taken quickly by Dewsbury-Hall to Garner. Dewsbury-Hall tries to get a left foot delivery and deflected, and it's not going to reach Gay, and now Casemiro has a chance to break for United. He has Mbeumo in front of him. Can he use him? Mbeumo in behind here. Pickford read it well, as did Tarkowski, but Pickford coming out of his box and hammering that one clear. I think Mbeumo maybe gesticulating to Casemiro to give it a little bit earlier, but I think he was trying to make sure that Mbeumo was going to reach that one, but it was just a bit too long for Brian Mbeumo to reach. Pickford, to his credit, read that one really well. United have it back though as Pickford hammered that one out for a throw-in inside their own half. Maguire plays on forward looking for Diallo. That's no contest in the air as Tarkowski wins it above him. Diallo beats Barry and he gets it back off Casemiro. And again it is with the experienced Brazilian who sprays one out to the left touchline for Cunha. He gets away from Ndiaye and now will take on Garner. Good tackle. James Garner, sliding tackle there, won that one clean as a whistle. Right, Tarkowski in the edge of his own box goes back to Pickford, and we're now just about inside the final minute of normal time here, so we'll see very shortly how much added time we'll have. I'd be surprised if it was any more than a couple of minutes. We did have a couple of stoppages for treatment for James Tarkowski and Tierno Barry, which might add up a little bit, but otherwise not too much action or delays. Well, there's been action, maybe not just too much goal-mouth action, but it's been an entertaining goalless game so far, despite the lack of Kieran Dewsbury-Hall there penalised for a foul on Kobe Menu right on the touchline on the United right. So free kick's taken. Now here's Yoro in the centre circle for United. Everton with 60-40 dominance of possession in the last 5 minutes. Casemiro, nice flick to get away from both Gay and Barry. Now here's Menu to Shaw on halfway. Menu again, holding off the challenge of Eric Bonham. And it's going to be a free kick in the end. So we're going to have 3 added minutes. I did mention that those couple of stoppages for Tarkowski and Barry, who are both okay to continue, but needed a bit of treatment, or at least certainly a bit of a breather before playing again. So we're into the 3 added minutes here at the end of the first half here at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, where it's still Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Free kick for United. Fernandes midway inside the Everton half. Arrows one really deep there. Finds Diallo in the right corner. Takes it down his chest. Faced up by Branthwaite. Diallo back to the edge of the box. Strike for Fernandes. Ooh, just over the top. He's claiming that took a deflection the way through, but Darren England and his officials disagree. Not sure if that was the plan, but Fernandes' deep free kick to Diallo, and then Fernandes ending up on the edge of the box, and well, he's still having a deep in discussion with the referee. I don't think Mr. England is really in any which way looking. We can look at this here now. Jared Branthwaite was actually originally jostling with Harry Maguire, but whenever he realised the ball was being played out deep to Diallo, he brushed off Maguire and went to try and close him down, but Diallo went to Fernandes, the edge of the box, and his shot, deflection or otherwise, just over the bar. So throw in now for Diogo Dallo. We're about halfway through the 3 added on here at the end of this first half. There's a foul, I believe, there. Yep, indeed it was, from Kobe Menu and Idrissa Gueye. 2 of the 3 played here. No free kick, in fact, just a throw in for Everton. Branthwaite to take. He's stealing a few yards down the left touchline. Still walking. And eventually will launch it down the line looking for Barry. In the end is nodded away by Dallow. So nothing comes of the yardage stealing as Armstrong plays one over the top looking for Barry, but Euro will just see that one out for a goal kick. So just about 30 seconds left of the 3 added on here at the end of this first half at Hill Dickinson Stadium, that has been short on goalmouth action, bit scrappy at times, but still an entertaining game. Jordan Pickford getting a hand on an early Amad Diallo shot, which needed a clearing off the line from James Tarkowski behind him. Diogo Dallo whistling one, a volley just wide of the post. And at the other end, well, Senna Lamans having to hold a James Garner free kick, but from open play, nothing much for Everton. And that is indeed going to be half time here.
16 ondersteuning van het elftal. fantastische ondersteuning van het elftal. €19 United. Bedankt voor de fantastische ondersteuning van het elftal.
United in red shirts, black shorts and black socks. For the teams for you in a moment, here's Garner and Ndiaye down the right hand touchline. I think Garner's a wee foul there, Acuna, but Ndiaye, good skill. Ndiaye to Dewsbury Hall over to Armstrong, held by Lamans 30 seconds into the second half, and Harrison Armstrong with an early chance for Everton. Maybe just could have put more power into that one. It's lovely skill from Ndiaye down the right to get past Casemiro. Dewsbury Hall sees Armstrong. He's closed down quickly by Dalot. The shot goes through Dallow's legs, with a relatively routine save in the end from Senna Lamans. That's a good start to the second half for Everton, and they line up as follows. And goals Pickford, across the back, Garner, Keane, Tarkowski and Branthwaite. In midfield is Gay, Eric Bonham and Dewsbury Hall, with Armstrong, Ndiaye and Barry the front three. For Manchester United then, it's Lamans and goal, across the back, Dalot, Maguire, Euro and Shaw. In midfield is Casemiro, Menu and Fernandes, with a front three of Diallo, Cunha and Mbeumo. Euro back to Maguire, who hammers that one clear on the bench for Everton. We've got Tom King, Nathan Patterson, Dwight McNeil, Beto, Vitaly Mikolenko, Tyreek George, Tyler Dibbling, Seamus Coleman and Merlin Rowe. And for Manchester United, Alte Bayindir, Nusir Mazraoui, Joshua Zirkzee, Tyrell Malacia, Manuel Ugarte, Aidan Heaven, Benjamin Sesko, Tyler Fletcher and Jack Moorhouse, who will be making a Premier League debut if he were to join us. Here's Armstrong again on the left hand touchline, back to Gay. Now Dewsbury Hall. Left corner of the penalty area, takes a touch, whips one in deep. That's a good ball, but Shaw gets there before Ndiaye. Eric Bonham nods it down to Garner, and now Ndiaye in the right corner of the penalty area. Back to Eric Bonham, edge of the box, left foot of Shaw's blocked by Casemiro and away by Shaw. Up into the Liverpool night sky. The rain has stopped and has stayed off since about midway through the first period, but the pitch, I'm sure, and the ball is still pretty slick and greasy. As Armstrong now on the left touchline to Branthwaite. Gay, Armstrong, bit of room here on the edge of the box now. Harrison Armstrong. Barry looks for their turn for Armstrong, but didn't work out, and Luke Shaw again clears, and Michael Keane back to Jordan Pickford, all in mint green. The Everton goalkeeper is opposite number Senna Lamans, all in yellow this evening. Our referee, man in the middle, all in black, is Darren England. So that's your officials. And, well, the last person in the name check, then I'm Mark Strange, live for Flash Score Officials. Garner delivers from the right, Maguire away to Shaw, who will try and twist away from Garner, and, well, that's one of the softer free kicks you'll see, but it's one of those ones in modern football that will be given. Shaw, as soon as he felt the hands, or hand even, there was hands, plural, from James Garner in his back, just falls to the ground, facing his own byline, and we'll get the free kick. Garner having a word with Shaw, I think something along the lines of, really? I didn't really. You didn't need to fall over, but, well, that's them's the breaks, as they say in modern football. You can't be laying your hands on defenders even facing their own goal. You're just giving them a very easy out. Lamans long. Headed away by Tarkowski. Back from whence it came by Casemiro. Gay beats in Burmo to that one. Casemiro forward. A bit uncouth football, but it's going to be in Burmo chasing down Tarkowski. He's going to make life difficult for the Everton captain. He just about keeps it in. Garner now will try and avoid Fernandes. Back to Tarkowski on the byline, who will clear. Not pretty, but Everton get it away. Header won by Maguire above Barry. But now here comes Dewsbury Hall in the centre circle, up over halfway for the Toffees. Dewsbury Hall, we can see he was trying to do there, but too much on that pass for Iliman Ndiaye, and Senna Lamans can come out and get that one. There's Cunha. Fernandes looking for Casemiro, just a bit too much on it again, but Diallo will beat Armstrong to it. Now here's Fernandes. Diallo to Diallo, that's the Manchester United right. The United fans just off to that right hand corner at the left of Jordan Pickford's goal. From around the edge of the, basically they around that corner from one side of the edge, 18-yard box to the other. There's Mainu, right corner of the penalty, delivers one in, looking for Mbeumo. Oh, good interception by Tarkowski, and Mbeumo over the top. Oh, that was for a narrow angle, Brian Mbeumo, but maybe should have been doing better. It was a good ball in from Kobe Mainu. Tarkowski didn't clear it at all, really. Giveaway by Dewsbury Hall to Kobe Mainu. Whipped in a really dangerous ball. Tarkowski got a touch on it, and Mbeumo at the back post trying to volley it in back across goal, but just couldn't keep it down with Pickford closing down the angle. That's real close from Brian Mbeumo. The closest he came in the first half was a bit of a low daisy cutter that was always going to go wide. I saw James Tarkowski in the first half make a goal line clearance to deny Amad Diallo. While Diogo Dallo also whistled a volley just wide for Everton. Really their best chance in that first half was a James Garner free kick that Lamans did well to hold. Here is the Belgian goalkeeper for Manchester United. Now Lenny Yoro. Casemiro. Ball over the top for Dallo. He's going to get to that one, but nodded away by Branthwaite. Dallo keeps it in. Right at the byline, the edge of the box. Here's Diallo. Comes to Casemiro, hits one. Fernandes gets a touch on it, but Michael Keane hammers it away, and Maguire will just steer it back to his goalkeeper. United will start from the back again. Here's Yoro. Midway inside his own half now. And Lamans just chips that one over the head of the onrushing Idrissa Gueye. To Yoro, and now Casemiro. Plays the ball laterally to Luke Shaw. Cunha wrestling there with James Garner. Now dinked over the top then for Cunha, who's going to test the pace of Garner, but across comes Tarkowski, and a good challenge from the Everton captain. Now Barry wins a header above Shaw. Ndiaye now just over halfway. Barry has Ndiaye to his right, but finds a nice ball inside the Dewsbury Hall. Everton approaching the penalty area. Dewsbury Hall just dummies past Casemiro, looks for the foul, but not coming, and now it's the Manchester United captain Bruno Fernandes will come away just on halfway. Diallo, strong challenge by Tarkowski, clatters Diallo but won the ball. Now Mainu. Bit of physicality in this game really for the first time. Mainu to Mbeumo, and back to his goalkeeper by Armstrong. Pickford first time. Barry tries to bring it under control, but a bit of a heavy touch, and that invites Kobe Mainu. Casemiro to Fernandes, cut back for Gueye. Now Iruk Bonham on the edge of the box. That's risky football from Everton. Fernandes and Mbeumo closing down, but eventually Michael Keane says enough of that and gets it away over halfway. But here's Yoro. Signed at the beginning of last season from Lille. Missed a good chunk of last year with injury, but has been much more involved this year. To bowl at the top for Diogo Dalot. Diogo Dalot cut by him for Ahmad, but Keane gets there well and then cleared away. Dalot was hurtling into the penalty area at speed there, but well dealt with by the Everton defence. It's not done yet though, as Ahmad Diallo, faced up by Jared Branthwaite, goes inside to Kobe Mainoo. Casemiro plays one in and Burmo wins a header, but never troubling Jordan Pickford. I think Matheus Cunha is a bit frustrated with him that he didn't leave that one for him, maybe to play behind him. Everyone were looking for an offside there against Diogo Dalot, but there certainly wasn't one. But Michael Keane alert to the danger, intercepting the Portuguese international's cutback, looking for Diallo. Goal kick boomed up into the sky by Jordan Pickford. Barry wins a header. Armstrong beats Dalot to the second ball. Now Dewsbury Hall, left corner of the penalty area, and way too much on it. Much to the frustration of the home faithful here at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, where, as I mentioned, the first half really has not really been home comforts for Everton at their new ground this season. They've 2 draws and 3 defeats in their last 5 home games. Their last home victory was a victory here over Nottingham Forest on the 6th of December, and well, Tarkowski there was just shepherding that ball back to Pickford, and then Burmo has gone to ground, but from what I could gather, I think Brennan Burmo has ran into James Tarkowski rather than the other way round there, but happy to be proven wrong by a replay if needs be, but that's my viewing of it at first glance. Oh, well, like I said, perhaps proven wrong by a replay. And well, I don't think Tarkowski has necessarily gone to throw an elbow at Burmo, but he's bracing himself for impact with a bit of physicality there, let's say, but nothing comes of it. So Pickford now has ball in hand, and Darren England says let's play. So we're going to see the first change of the evening for either side, and it's going to be Benjamin Sesko who's going to enter proceedings for Manchester United, the man who got the late equaliser to secure a point at the London Stadium 13 days ago. Now Diallo going down the line there with Dewsbury Hall, who does well just to see that one out for a goal kick, and Diallo had his shirt opened up there to make it look like a bit of a unbuttoning the shirt, and that sub is going to see, that's going to be the last action of Amad Diallo's game. He's off, and it is the big Slovenian striker Benjamin Sesko who will join us here on 58 minutes. So that will certainly change the complexion of this front three for Manchester United. You'd imagine Sesko will go through the middle with Cunha and Burmo playing off him, whereas Burmo was the man playing through the middle for the most part. Michael Carrick making the first switch of this game just before the hour mark. Sesko for Diallo, as Diallo makes his way around behind the goal past those Manchester United fans and takes in a warm round of applause and reciprocates as Jordan Pickford takes a goal kick. Barry this time beating Casemiro to it. He's a big physical presence up there, Tierno Barry, as is Benjamin Sesko, but Tarkowski beats him to that one. And now Harrison Armstrong holding off the challenge of Diogo Dalot. Now Kieran Dewsbury Hall, left corner of the penalty area for Everton. Back out to Armstrong on the left flank. Now Gay almost stumbles there, but gets a bit of an unorthodox pass off to Jared Branthwaite, and Burmo gets a toe in on it as a throw in to Everton. Now here's Tarkowski on the halfway line for Everton. Now Iliman Ndiaye. Back to Pickford. Long ball forward there, but Dallow beats Armstrong to it. Now here's Yoro. Back to Maguire on the edge of the box. And a good sliding tackle there from Dewsbury Hall and Yoro, and that gets the home fans on that far side out of their seats. To be honest, they haven't had a whole lot to go out of their seats for, either home or away fans here. As Diogo Dallow takes a throw in to Casemiro under pressure, and Barry again. Fernandes flicks it away with Eric Bonham all over him. Everton's pressing game has been good, and Shaw under pressure gives that one away to Garner on halfway. And as predicted there, looks like Sesko through the middle, and Mbeumo will just drift out to that right where Amad Diallo was occupying for the first 57 minutes of this game. Lamans forward. And Keane wins the header there, claiming that Sesko's boot was high, but play on. Now Cunha down the left for United. Fernandes overlapping. Cunha uses his captain, line on the edge 18-yard box. He cuts infield and finds Shaw. Perhaps it would have been better for Shaw going down that left to whip in across, but here he is now on that left flank. Gets a pass inside Mainu. Good one-touch passing for United. Casemiro over the top, looking for Mainu. Garner's going to have to play it, but play it very well he does, as he turns away from Mainu and hammers that one clear. Back to Senna Lamans. Now, Lenny Yoro. We've played an hour now at Hill Dickinson Stadium, where it remains as we were at kick-off. Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Mark Strange live for you in Flash Score Official. Delighted you could join me here this evening, wherever you are in the world. Here's Dallow on the right-hand flank in line with the edge 18-yard box. Casemiro. Mainu overruns that one slightly, invited the challenge from Barry, but ball drops from Maguire. Now Mainu, midway inside the Everton half, central, to the left for Shaw. Ball through, looking for Mbeumo, but Branthwaite just eases that one through to his goalkeeper. So, this week, of course, is the second legs of the Champions League playoff rounds. Just the one English side in action, that's Newcastle, and after a commanding first leg victory, they're at home to Karabag tomorrow evening. We'll have live commentary of that one, and also of Inter against Bodø/Glimt, who are Inter are behind the 8 ball, a 3-1 defeat in Norway in the first leg, so they've got a 2-goal deficit to overturn at home tomorrow night. Both of those 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time kickoffs live here on Flash Score Commentary, as United look for a foul there from Eric Bonham and Mbeumo, but not coming, and now Branthwaite up over halfway, ball through the middle looking for Tierno Barry. It's just overhit. Barry is going to get to it first though, but he's forced all the way into the right hand corner. He finds Ndiaye, who puts his head down, goes into the box at pace. Ndiaye to Gay on the edge of the day. Just a Gay block by Shaw, spins away and will go out for a throw in on the right midway inside the Manchester United half. And United and their fans still not happy with the lack of a free kick call at the other end, but now here's James Garner. Also this week we have 3 Champions League games on Wednesday night. An early kick-off between Atalanta and Dortmund before Real Madrid v Benfica and Paris Saint-Germain against Monaco. And then on Thursday evening is Europa League and Conference League time, with 3 British sides in action. Stuttgart v Celtic at 5:45, and then at 8 o'clock the second legs are 2 Premier League sides, Nottingham Forest against Fenerbahce, and then Crystal Palace against Czerniski Mostar. As there's a ball in from Kieran Dewsbury Hall, glanced away by Shaw with Ndiaye coming behind, but Garner will rescue, gets a good cross in behind Barry. It's going to drop for Harrison Armstrong, left hand side of the penalty area, can't get a shot away, gets it back to Branthwaite, who sells Casemiro a dummy. Dewsbury Hall deflected wide. It's going to be a corner kick for Everton. Good spell of pressure there from the Toffees, and the home fans now all of a sudden getting something to go out of their seats for. That was much better from David Moyes' men. Dewsbury's Hall, well, I'm not sure if it was a shot or a cross, whatever it was, it took a nick off Diogo Dallow on the way through for a corner kick. Kieran Dewsbury Hall, right hand into the air, but we're going to stop here as Jared Branthwaite has ended up on the floor in the penalty area, jostling there with Diogo Dalot, but Darren England is going to call both of them over for a bit of a chin wag here. So now the corner is going to be taken. And it comes, punched away by Lamans. So to Gay on the edge of the box, drills it in. Good block by Mainu. Gay again under pressure, and Burmo, so has to go back to Iruk Bonham in the centre circle. And now back with Gay. Now Armstrong back to Iruk Bonham. Now Branthwaite, 65 gone here. Gay on the left-hand touchline line with the 18-yard box, passes over hit to Ndiaye. Now Sesko will bring Cunha in this one. United break at pace here, up over halfway as Matthias Cunha has Sesko to his left. Oh, he goes down. Cunha, no free kick given, much to his despair and those United fans away off to his right-hand side. He was breaking at pace there. There was a couple of blue shirts converging on him. He had Sesko to his left, didn't use him. He'll argue he wasn't given a chance to use him, but Darren England and his officials disagree. So Everton back on the ball here midway inside their own half with Michael Keane. Right, James Tarkowski over the right hand side now to Garner. He's in front of his manager David Moyes, gesticulating on the edge of his technical area, and there's a challenge from Casemiro on Garner, one that was born out of frustration on halfway. And well, Darren England's kept his cards in his pocket. He hasn't had anything really, any need to get them out, so he decides to keep them there. We get a look at this. Look, this one from Cunha. Ah, well, you know, there's absolutely nothing there. He just slips. It's Tom Eric Bonham and Jared Branthwaite were converging on him. And I mentioned the rain has stopped, but it was raining most of the day in Liverpool and rained up until about halfway through the first half there. So the pitch and the ball is still greasy. And perhaps Matthias Cunha not with the right studs on there, and he slips and falls. There's the free kick, deep delivery, nodded back across goal by Keane. That was dangerous, but Lamans read it well and comes out to take. Thinks about bowling out underarm quickly, but instead will just roll it out to Dalot on the right hand side. Mainu to Cunha, and now Fernandes. Dinked over the top there for Cunha, who had to really stretch to get that one. James Garner and he compete for it, and well, in the end it's going to be a goal kick to Everton as Cunha almost ends up hurdling the advertising hoardings behind the goal. And now we're going to see the first sub in this one, that for Everton, and that looks like the Chelsea loanee Tyreek George. He is getting some instructions there. 68 minutes. He started the defeat here 13 days ago to Bournemouth, but replaced in the starting lineup today by Harrison Armstrong, the young 19-year-old. He has had a good game, but we'll see if it's maybe him that is withdrawn for Tyreek George. But ball's in play at the minute, so George will continue to get his tactical information on board. Now here's Dewsbury Hall as he tries to play a 1-2 there with Armstrong, but the return pass just a bit long, and in fact the return pass got a touch off a United player, and Bruno Fernandes and Harrison Armstrong there having a little bit of tete-a-tete. I'm not quite sure why. Armstrong walks away without speaking to Fernandes. Fernandes has a bit of a don't know if Fernandez there. Neither of them were really. It wasn't on the ball. The corner had been given at that point. Bit of needless back and forth between the two. But Everton have a corner here in this minute number 70. It's going to be a right-footed in-swinger here from James Garner, the Manchester United youth product. In it comes here. That's a really good delivery into the back post. Tarkowski challenges with Maguire. Header loops up into the air and he's the first to it. Good ball across from Tarkowski. And Lamans gets to it with Barry in behind him. Great goalkeeping there from Senna Lamans. Deep delivery from Garner. It was Maguire and Tarkowski. A really heavyweight battle at the back post. Tarkowski really well. He won the initial header, looped it up in the air and was aware enough to get to the second ball. And a dangerous ball in, but that's good defensive work from Idrissa Gueye there. Long ball to the top, looking to send Brian and Burmo in behind, but Gueye read it well and leapt, stretched just to get enough of a nod onto that one to send it back to Jordan Pickford. So as I say, 70 minutes gone here at Hill Dickinson Stadium. We're still goalless between Everton and Manchester United. And now there's Ndiaye who gets away from Fernandez. And from Casemiro, the edge of the box, finds Garner in the box on the right hand side. Garner, great sliding intervention by Matheus Cunha. That's going to be another corner kick for Everton. They're starting to build them up now. It was Ndiaye initially who made headway down the left, and then it's passed to the far side to Garner. In fact, it's going to be a throw in that just went the other side of the flag. So now it's Garner gets the throw in off Gueye. And again, Garner 1-2 between him and Ndiaye. And now he finds his Senegal international teammate Idrissa Gueye. Good delivery. Headed away by Maguire. Sesko, risky ball down to Shaw. But it works out okay. And now Cunha is going to send Mbeumo away. He's got Michael Keane for pace here. Brian Mbeumo has got Sesko bursting through the middle. Sesko 1-on-1. 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. Benjamin Sesko again off the bench for Manchester United. 71 minutes gives them the lead. A rapid counter-attack from Michael Carrick's men. And the big Slovenian sends the away end of Hill Dickinson Stadium into raptures. It was Matheus Cunha who started the counter-attack. Brian Mbeumo, I knew he would have Michael Keane for pace, and he did. And through the middle, the track and Everton defence couldn't keep up with Sesko. He's a big man, but he's quick too, and he finished it beautifully first time past Jordan Pickford. Everton, but I think now that one's going to mean a little bit more for the Toffees as they will now try and get themselves back into this game. Benjamin Sesko has given Manchester United the lead here at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Ball in behind now for Dewsbury Hall. Euro forced to play it. Ooh, his own clearance comes back off Diogo Dalot. That wasn't pretty from Lenny Euro. A bit of a grimace from him, and Manchester United are going to have a corner to defend here. One of their own making. Harrison Armstrong on the bench there certainly has not done himself any harm. Another good performance, another 72 minutes with the 19-year-old who started the year on loan at Preston in the Championship, recalled at the beginning of January, and has been a key member of David Moyes' squad since. So it's going to be James Garner to deliver this one. Right-footed in-swinger from him. His last delivery was good. This one's good as well, but Lamans commanding his penalty area, takes it well to the point I think he might even have clattered one of his own defenders there. Yeah, it's Casemiro who's rubbing the back of his head there. Lamans was getting to that ball no matter who was in the way. So good commanding goalkeeping, from Senna Lamans there. Tierno Barry is not going to let Senna Lamans kick this one. And Lamans got to set it down though, because the 8 seconds is up. And is Barry allowed to play this? Barry's taken it off his feet. And well, the referee has said no, he's not allowed to do that. And now we've got a bit of something to sort out there, because I think Senna Lamans had the ball in his hand for more than 8 seconds. I think that's what Tierno Barry is trying to say to Darren England. And when Lamans set the ball down, Barry nicked it off and was going to go and score in the empty net, but instead Lamans will boom this one forward. 75 minutes gone. It's Everton 0, Manchester United 1. Benjamin Sesko off the bench for just over 10 minutes, and he finishes a rapid Manchester United counter-attack. Here's Tyreek George, first piece of play for him, and he wins a corner, cross deflected off Lenny Yoro. It's a good introduction off the bench for the Chelsea loanee. David Moyes stands, arms folded on the touchline. Tarkowski and Keane up from the back. It's Everton's fifth corner. Manchester United haven't had one. It's going to be Garner again, right-footed in swinger. Another good delivery. This one punched by Lamans, and then Burmo nods that one away before Gay can get to it. Gay will just let it run for a throw-in on the right-hand side, midway inside the Manchester United half. Takes it to Dewsbury Hall, and I think we're going to have a sub here. The Everton players are unhappy that the referee has stopped. And in fact, he's produced a yellow card for Jordan Pickford, I believe. Pickford wasn't happy about something, and he gets the first yellow card of the game here. Well, in fact, now with Brian and Burmo down with a bit of cramp, or supposed cramp, he was absolutely rapid in setting up that goal for Benjamin Sesko, and that's going to do him, actually. That sub is going to happen now for Manchester United, and Brian and Burmo is going to be replaced here by Nusayr Mazraoui, so a bit of a change in formation for Manchester United. A bit more defensive solidity for Michael Carrick's men as they approach the final 13 minutes here at Hill Dickinson Stadium. So Brian and Burmo off, and Nusayr Mazraoui on for Manchester United. And that's, I think, what Jordan Pickford is protesting about, that Everton wanted to take a quick throw in there, but Darren England had already signalled for that Manchester United sub to happen. Garner now takes a throw in to Ndiaye. Back to Tarkowski on halfway, and all the way back to Pickford. Sends one forward left footed. Good flick on there from Branthwaite. They're looking for a corner, and they're going to get one. So another Everton corner here on 78 minutes. They're sixth of the game. As I mentioned, Manchester United haven't had one. But the main stat in the top left corner of my screen here that you need to know is that it is Everton 0, Manchester United 1. Benjamin Sesko off the bench, super sub, finishing a rapid counter-attack started by Matheus Cunha, set up by Brian and Burmo, finished clinically by Benjamin Sesko. Now it's an absolute gaggle of players in front of Senna Lamans. Everyone getting close for comfortable. Oh, it's bobbing around in there. George tried to hit it. Mazraoui's in there. Tarkowski loops up into the air. Sesko will go out to it with Gay on the right-hand touchline and blocks Gay's cross for another corner, this time from the other side. So Manchester United will remain camped inside their own half. That was, well, I said there's a lot of players around the goalkeeper. It fell for Tyreek George. He couldn't get a shot on it. Mazraoui, with his first action, did well to block James Tarkowski's shot, and then it was blocked away. So now we're going to have an Everton sub, so they'll do the opposite of Manchester United. They'll get a striker on, so it's Tom Iragbonham is off and Beto is on for Everton here on 79 minutes as David Moyes will throw the kitchen sink at his former employers here for the last 11 minutes plus. It's going to be another corner from the other side, and it's just quite the congregation there in that 6-yard box. Senna Lamans making sure Darren England can see what's going on. Lenny Yoro and James Tarkowski having a wrestling match in there. In it comes. It's headed away by someone, back in by Gay, and he sliced it wide, and he couldn't even get a deflection in front of the net there, and will just bobble harmlessly wide. So we look at that counter-attack. Actually, the initial cross comes in, initially headed away by Maguire. Sesko sets it up for Cunha, who then launches it long for Burmo, and Sesko is absolutely on his bike there. He is so rapid, Benjamin Sesko, for a big man. Serious pace and a brilliant finish. A genuine, really, really good finish in the circumstances. He's a striker who, at the start of the season, after his big money move from RB Leipzig, didn't quite hit the ground running, but he is really starting to find his feet and find his place, if not always in the Manchester United starting 11, certainly in the squad, as we're going to look at the Premier League table. I mentioned start a point would have been enough for Manchester United to go into the top 4. If it stays like this, they'll be in 4th place, 3 points ahead of Chelsea and 3 points behind Aston Villa. There's one in behind for Dewsbury Hall. Good challenge there from Mazraoui, and he gets it away. Not very far though. 81 minutes gone. Gay beats Sesko to that one. Now Keane to Garner, midway inside the Everton half. They've now got 2 main strikers up there in Beto and Barry, with Ndiaye and George up there too. Under attack goal. Gay. Dewsbury Hall to Keane. Branthwaite can't get past Mazraoui. Now Dewsbury Hall. Back out to Branthwaite, line with the edge 18-yard box. Gets a cross in. Up goes a couple of Everton players. Good header away by Yoro. Ndiaye will get to it on the right-hand touchline. Back to Gay. Now Dewsbury Hall. Garner on the right hand corner of the penalty area, surrounded by 3 red shirts. Takes a deflection off Casemiro. Maguire gets it away before Barry can get there. Dewsbury Hall now to Tarkowski. Keane, Michael Keane's going to hit one. Wow, he really hit it. And Lamans with a flying save to tip it over the bar. Michael Keane, they've got 4 strikers on the pitch, 5 if you can, really. And what a save by Senna Lamans. Goodness me, that is a save of the year candidate there, not just for the strike but in the circumstances. Just 7 minutes to go and Michael Keane, the centre half of all people, and now all of a sudden Keane and Yoro have ended up in the back of the net here as Everton wait for their 8th corner of the game. It's all got a little bit messy in here, and Darren England will have to make sure nothing untoward is happening, but he is going to call James Tarkowski over to speak to him. And there's going to be a yellow card coming out here. I'm not quite sure who. Darren, initially looked like Lenny Yoro being called over. Maybe he has. Hard to tell. Tarkowski was chatting. Still, the gaggle of players in front of the goalkeeper. The ball up in the air and it goes behind for another corner. Beto was in there, but the last touch comes off a United player. Who was it? Your guess is as good as mine. Might have been Harry Maguire, but I'm not sure. The net was rippling. Somebody else ended up falling into it. So just confirming, oh for goodness me, James Tarkowski and Harry Maguire now in a heap on the ground. And these corner kicks, the 9th of the game for Everton. And it's going to be Tarkowski and Maguire are already booked. And the 2 of them are at it again here, so Tarkowski needs to be very careful here. He and Bruno Fernandes, the 2 captains, are being spoken to by Darren England. We had Barry and Casemiro in there, and Tarkowski and Maguire. And Everton's 9th corner of the game. United haven't had one. And it is just a bombardment here as we approach the last 5 minutes of normal time at Hill Dickinson Stadium. James Garner waits and now delivers. Right-footed in-swinger again. Lamans punches it again. He's been so good. And that's away by Mazraoui up to the halfway line where Gay will have to go back to it. So Bit of respite there for Manchester United. Pickford comes out midway inside his own half and hammers that one back towards the United goal. Maguire wins a header above Barry. And then a ball to nothing there from Idrissa Gueye is plunged upon by Senna Lamans as we enter the last, well, we've now hit 85 minutes on the clock. We enter the last 4 minutes of normal time here. Long ball forward. Sesko jumps, but Tarkowski beats him to it. Casemiro back, and Tarkowski will just a gentle nod down to Michael Keane. Back to Jordan Pickford. Remember, has also been booked for his protests at Manchester United being allowed to sub instead of a quick Everton throw. We had no yellow cards before that. Now we've got him, as well as his captain James Tarkowski and Harry Maguire from Manchester United in Darren England's notebook. And Manchester United committed a few men forward there on an attack that didn't work, and now they're going to have to track back. Ndiaye on the right hand touchline, faced up by Shaw, approaching the right corner of the penalty area. A couple of step overs with Ndiaye, gets a cross in right into the bread basket of Senna Lamans, who has had a really good game. And that save, that flying save to tip Michael Keane's pile driver over the bar. Well, he's just absolutely hammered that one way up into the night sky. Good grief. Jared Branthwaite, that's going to hurt. Tries to head that one. He might not be showing it, but you know that's sore. Here goes Cunha down the left. Runs into Garner looking for the throw in, not getting it. Everton will take the throw instead, and there's Ndiaye and Casemiro collide, and no foul again. Garner to Barry. Now Garner. In the first half, Everton were outshot 7-2 by Manchester United. In the second half, they're outshooting them 10-4. But the one shot that has really mattered was Benjamin Sesko's goal. He's the difference between the two sides here. His goal in 71 minutes has Manchester United ahead. Now is there more for him? Mainu tries to go towards goal. Thinks he was fouled by Keane, but nothing doing, says Darren England. This game's getting a little bit chaotic as we go into the final 2.5 minutes. Brilliant drama here now in this Monday night Premier League action live on Flash Score. Official with me, Mark Strange. Delighted to have you along with me, where it's Everton 0, Manchester United 1. Ndiaye on the right hand touchline now taking on Luke Shaw. Back to Gueye around 30 yards from goal, and Ndiaye in front of him. Bit of skill from him, gets it inside to Garner. And now Keane, who had that rasping drive tipped over the top by Lamans. Now here's George. Back from Dewsbury Hall, the two that were Chelsea teammates last season. George joining Everton on loan from Stamford Bridge in the January window. Strong forward play there by Tierno Barry. Barry tries to get a cross in, and you guessed it, it's a corner. The 10th of the game as we hit the 88-minute mark here at Goodison Park. That one coming off of Luke Shaw. And yet another corner for Everton. The pressure just keeps on mounting, but so far Manchester United are bending but not breaking. And now Tarkowski's in the middle of it again, this time with Lenny Yoro right in front of Senna Lamans. Darren England will need a fair few pairs of eyes to watch everything going on here. In comes the delivery. It's a deep one. Up goes Barry. Good clearance, whoever that was, I'm not sure. Mazraoui. Cunha can't get past Gueye. Now Ndiaye. Casemiro's out there. Ndiaye goes back to Gueye. Gets a deep delivery in there. Flicked on by Branthwaite. Hooked away by Sesko. And now is there another United counter-attack on here with Cunha. Cunha holding off the challenge of Gueye and then wins a free kick. Well sold there by the Brazilian Matheus Cunha, who can even afford a chuckle there with Idrissa Gueye. And we're now into minute number 90. We'll see very shortly what sort of added time we'll have here at Hill Dickinson Stadium. I think David Moyes is looking for a sub to be made here. In the meantime, Harry Maguire waits and booms that ball forward. Keane beats Sesko to it, drops for Dallo. Dallo, great skill past Keane. Dallo drills it low. It's deflected behind for a Manchester United corner. The first of the game comes in the 90th minute. Everton have had 10 of them. And here's the first of the game now for Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes will take the slow walk over and take the applause of the Manchester United travelling fans in that. Dallo to take. Gets it back off Fernandes. Dallo. Mainu. Fernandes. Dallo. Trying to keep it in the corner, and they do. Fernandes. Mainu. Dallo. Ndiaye's in there. Another throw in for Manchester United, and that's about a minute of the 5 added on. Killed there for Michael Carrick's side. Right down that corner in front of their travelling fans who were sent into raptures about 20 minutes ago by Benjamin Sesko, the man who rescued a point their last time out at the London Stadium. May well have got them 3 this time. There's a yellow card. That's a bit of a hack there from Nusser Mazraoui on Michael Keane. That's called taking one for the team there for the Moroccan international. Keane trying to break away at pace for Everton, but Mazraoui says no, you don't. So Jordan Pickford will come out. So about 35 yards away from his goal, just to hammer that one down the pitch. But he's frustrated as he has to go back and get rid of a second ball on the pitch, which will waste a few more seconds. But now he's going to launch this one into the Manchester United half. Here it comes. He kicked that one like an NFL kicker, just launched it in there. Maguire beats Beto to it. Sesko back doing defensive duties on the edge of his own box. Now there's maybe a break on here. Cunha doesn't push for it though, and it's a good challenge by Garner. But now a break for Fernandes, and he does open it up now down the right hand touchline. Great touch there from Zaire. It's Sesko in again. Sesko to kill it, goes round Pickford. Oh, what a brilliant diving recovery, just to palm it away from Benjamin Sesko. Pickford back in his line. Sesko keeps it in. Back to Fernandes and Mainu now, midway inside the Everton half. Sesko went round Pickford. He got a touch initially, and then a desperate diving palm away. Fernandes fouls Dewsbury Hall, but advantage played, and forward comes Tyreek George. George hits one. No, saved by Lamans. He had options there, Tyreek George, but he went for goal, and it wasn't a bad effort. But Senna Lamans has had a brilliant evening in the goal for Manchester United, and he makes the save from the Chelsea loanee. Well, Beto and Ndiaye were following that in, so it was crucial that the Belgian goalkeeper held on to that one. 3 minutes of the 5 added on are up now. Dewsbury Hall to George on the left touchline, faced up by Mazraoui. Mazraoui slips, George goes past him. George slips now, but he's still going here. Gets it back to Branthwaite, who's pressured there by Casemiro. The two of them go to ground, but advantage played as Keane has it now for Everton, midway inside the Manchester United half. Out to the right for Tarkowski. And there's Garner in the box. Cunha back there with him. Ooh, he needs to be careful. Cunha had a good chunk of James Garner's shirt there, but he wins the goal kick and celebrates that one with some gusto in front of James Garner. I don't know if there's a little bit of niggle between them. I didn't really notice. But Tarkowski's over to try and have words with Cunha, and Luke Shaw's having to push him away, and the usually very calm and composed James Tarkowski is not taking kindly to Matheus Cunha celebrating a goal kick of all things. Very We're into the last minute of added time here at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. I think actually Bruno Fernandes has been booked for that foul on Kieran Dewsbury Hall that Advantage has played for. Ball hooked over the top, but it's going to take one bounce into the gloves of Jordan Pickford. He sets it on the ground and is ready to launch that one forward. Everybody up there for Everton. Masraoui up there with Barry. But it's going to fall for George now on the left-hand touchline. George, deep cross in there. Ndiaye at the back post. Shaw lets it run over his head. Ndiaye is there. Back to Garner. Last chance saloon for Everton. He gets it in there. Garner. Maguire's up there. Casemiro's up there. Who got a touch? Did anybody get a touch? Not from Manchester United. That's out for a goal kick, and that's surely that. Tarkowski and George can't believe it. Let's have another look here. No, that's definitely a corner. I'm not sure if it's Casemiro or Maguire, but one of the two United defenders there get a glance on that ball. But Everton have had plenty of corners, haven't been able to do anything with them. Manchester United have frustrated them at the back. And we're into the last seconds here now of this one. Michael Carrick can't sit still on the bench. Senna Lamans will send the goal kick long. Still we play. We're in the 6th minute now. Tarkowski hammers it up into the air and it's over. Manchester United have beaten Everton 1-0 at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. They return the favour after Everton's victory on their turf back in November, and it's Benjamin Sesko off the bench again. Just over 10 minutes after his introduction, he finished off a rapid Manchester United counter-attack. It was started by Harry Maguire and Matheus Cunha. They sent Bryan Mbeumo streaking away. He did well to square it across to Sesko, who finished first time past Jordan Pickford. That's the only goal of the game. Manchester United in the end had to grim and bear 10 Everton corners, and they only had one, and it came the 90th minute. Everton heaping the pressure on, but their home woes continue. That's now 6 without a win at home, and only 6 without a win at home, and only 5 home wins out of their last 10. I've been Mark Strange, live for you here this evening at Hill Dickinson Stadium for Flash Score Official. Hope you enjoyed that one as much as I did. It turned out to be a thoroughly entertaining game. It's all over here now though. It's finished Everton 0, Manchester United 1. They're now 3 points clear of Chelsea in 4th place now. Everton's European dreams, well, their home form is really causing trouble for it, perhaps slipping away. But for now, thanks very much for listening this